The Detroit Lions have just become the talk of the NFL. And this time, the reason is a direct, ambitious, and confident statement from none other than Jared Goff. The Lions quarterback revealed what he believes is the secret to champions, the ingredient that makes the Kansas City Chiefs so dominant, and what Detroit needs to replicate if it wants to reach the same heights. This just happened, and it's already dominating every conversation among fans. Goff opened up about what truly separates great teams from good teams, and the way he said it made it clear. The Lions want more than victories. They want to build a dynasty. But before revealing the exact point that Goff considers the DNA of the Chiefs' success, take the opportunity to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. What Jared Goff said wasn't just sports analysis, it was almost a declaration of competitive war. He recalled the matchups between Detroit and Kansas City, and how those games shaped what he believes will be the Lions' new path. In 2019, Goff watched the Chiefs win 34-30 in a game decided by the nitty-gritty. At that moment, Mahomes, Kelsey, and company were still writing the beginning of their dynasty. The Lions were merely supporting actors in a story that wasn't yet theirs. But Goff never forgot that game. 4 years later, in 2023, the roles began to change. Detroit faced the Chiefs again, this time as a team on the rise, and silenced Arrowhead Stadium with a 21-20 comeback. That victory wasn't just a score, it was a warning. And today, Goff himself admits that that moment was symbolic, the day Detroit went from spectator to contender. But what really caught the eye was the clarity with which Goff described the secret behind Kansas City's consistency. For him, what makes the Chiefs special isn't just talent, tactics, or Mahomes, it's the ability to recharge each season as if it were the first. Consistency over time, Goff said. They always have the same energy, the same hunger, even after they've achieved everything. That's the hardest part in the NFL. This remark resonated with fans because it reveals something profound. Goff sees that the true strength of champions lies not just in winning, but in wanting to win again and again, even when everyone thinks they've already reached the top. This mentality, he says, is what the Lions need to cultivate if they want to transform talent into legacy. And the curious thing is that the current numbers prove that Detroit is on the right track. The Lions started the season 4-1, demonstrating a balance between offense and defense, something that has always been the hallmark of the most dominant teams. On the other hand, the Chiefs, despite a patchy 2-3 start, remain the model to follow because of the solidity Goff mentioned. He knows that achieving this consistency is the final step for Detroit to move from a promising prospect to a powerhouse. And that's why his words carry so much weight. He's not just praising a rival, he's revealing the roadmap his own team must follow. In Goff's view, what separates a good season from a winning era is a standard of excellence that never wavers. It's the kind of mentality that starts in practice, extends to the locker room, and explodes onto the field. He knows this requires more than talent. It requires discipline, mentality, and unity. And perhaps most importantly, it requires the belief that the Lions can indeed be the NFL's next great empire. It's not about copying the Chiefs, but about understanding what got them there and adapting it to Detroit's DNA. In the end, Jared Goff's message almost sounds like a manifesto. The Lions don't just want to be competitive, they want to be legendary. They're not satisfied with one-off victories, but with building something that lasts. And if you look closely, you'll realize this group already has the right ingredients: an inspiring coach, an aggressive defense, an explosive offense, and a quarterback who not only leads, but believes. The difference between dream and reality, as Goff himself made clear, is consistency. And if Detroit can keep this flame burning season after season, they can, yes, achieve the same level of greatness that defines Kansas City. So Lions fans, hold on to this phrase. Consistency is the true secret to glory. Jared Goff just made it clear that this is the team's next step, and if he's right, we're about to see the birth of something much greater than just a good run. The Lions' future may be closer than many imagine.
The Detroit Lions have just become the center of explosive speculation that has the entire NFL on edge. Sources close to the team have confirmed that Dan Campbell may be preparing a bold and terrifying move, something that could completely change the team's fate this season. And the name involved in this potential trade is simply one of the league's most dominant defensive ends, Trey Hendrickson of the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, you heard right. The Lions could be about to assemble one of the most feared pass-rushing duos in the entire NFL, and it has the potential to transform Detroit into a major Super Bowl favorite. But before I tell you all the details of this trade and what it means, please like and subscribe to the channel. This news has hit Detroit fans like a bombshell, and rightly so. The Lions are enjoying a special moment, a 4-1 record, one of the best offenses in the league, and a climate of confidence the city hasn't seen in decades. But even with all this success, there's a growing internal concern: the defense. Despite showing improvement under Aaron Glenn when he was still coaching the Lions, the group still isn't at the same level as Jared Goff's offense. And Dan Campbell knows this. The coach wants a complete team, without weaknesses, and he knows that the playoffs don't forgive imbalances. So the big question arises: is this the time for Detroit to make a decisive move and solidify its powerhouse status? On the other side, the Cincinnati Bengals face a completely different scenario. Joe Burrow is out, the team has lost its way, and the defense, which was already carrying the burden of keeping the roster competitive, is beginning to unravel. Hendrickson, who led the NFL in sacks last year, seems increasingly frustrated. He is in the final year of his contract, talks about a renewal have soured, and there are rumors that he is not at all satisfied with the direction of the franchise. This opens the perfect door for a team like the Lions to come calling with a tempting offer. Now imagine this scene: Aiden Hutchinson and Trey Hendrickson lined up side by side, pressuring the opposing quarterback on virtually every play. A nightmare for any offensive line. It's the kind of duo that forces opposing coordinators to completely change their game plan, keeping tight ends blocking, running backs helping in protection, and still see the pocket collapse. Just thinking about it makes a Detroit fan's blood boil. Hendrickson and Hutchinson together could easily combine for over 25 sacks in a single season. And most importantly, they would give the Lions the dominant defensive identity the team has sought for years. But of course, every bold move has its price. The Bengals' pass rusher is an established star, and Cincinnati wouldn't let him go lightly. Speculation is that the Lions could offer a third-round pick along with a fourth-round trade to seal the deal. Sounds expensive? Maybe, but it's also a calculated move. Hendrickson could leave for free next year as he's set to become a free agent, and the Bengals risk losing their best defender for no return. So, a solid offer from Detroit could be more than enough to open negotiations and, who knows, complete one of the most explosive trades of the season. And if that actually happens, there's no doubt the Detroit Lions will automatically become one of the title favorites. A consistent offense, a quarterback who's playing the best football of his career, and now an absolutely terrifying defensive line. The Lions would go from being just a sensation of the season to the team no one wants to face in the playoffs. Dan Campbell always said his goal was to build a physical, ruthless, and feared team. With Hendrickson in Detroit, that phrase would no longer just be motivational speech. It would become a terrifying reality for the entire NFL. What do you think, fans? Could this be the perfect move to take the Lions to the top? Comment below, because if this deal actually goes through, the Detroit roar will echo all the way to the Super Bowl. Until the next update.